Right, let's jump on this game. This is an absolute beezer of a game. This is the pre-World Cup final extravaganza Saturday night. The Bills, who had a great victory last week against the Jets in the sense of they won the game, and the Jets are now in trouble. And we'll talk about that in a bit. Bills now shifting their focus to, frankly, a massive game for both teams. More so, Mark, Miami going up against so it's the Dolphins going up against the Buffalo Bills this weekend. What is it, New York Bills, after getting done for that last week with the whole New York thing. This is a massive game, but more so, Mark, a very, very concerning performance for Dolphins fans on Sunday Night Football. I believe the Dolphins are at their highest level, probably in my fandom of the NFL, with the talent that they have across the offense and the defense. And obviously, when you've got Tua there, there's always options, but they were concerning on Sunday night. I said at least Tua going 10 for 28 for 145 yards. He got smacked, man. Absolutely smacked. Tyreek had that one incredible play or two incredible plays, which is good because you always need that. But am I crazy to think that the Buffalo defense is going to destroy them on Saturday night? They're going into a cold Buffalo. At the time of recording, it's giving snow. There is a forecast of snow, I think, and people can sit here and say, well, the Bills have struggled on the run. That's fine. It's the Buffalo Bills, lads. Josh Allen, if Josh Allen needs to rush 60 yards, he will. And I feel that I feel, Mark, that the Bills are going to go out this weekend and they're going to put a statement victory down against the Dolphins, and we start looking at Josh Allen again in a different light in regards to the MVP race, in regards to the playoffs. But for Mike McDaniel, this is a massive game of the weekend, absolutely huge game on Saturday night.
Yeah, it's a very difficult one because I don't know, did I say this on one of our shows or was I just talking to you about it? It's like Josh Allen is coming out of that kind of, I'm not going to say it was a horrible spell by him. It absolutely wasn't, but there was the few games in a row that he had multiple interceptions. It seems that that's behind him and he's gone back to a level of consistency. What are they, 4 wins in a row now? And it was, that he had 3 games in a row with 2 interceptions and they lost 2 of those. They've gotten through that hump and they're getting better, getting certainly, like you're saying, healthier on defense. But then when you look at Tua, like the game they had the other day, absolutely stank. His completion percentage was 35%. Like you never hear of that happening and a player not getting benched. Like I suppose
if that was Herbert, Mark, there would be a complete storm online.
And I'm interested to hear Michaela's thoughts because Michaela was the only one out of us that picked the Chargers to win that game, and they were decisive in doing so. And I kind of said that Tua wasn't going through a poor spell, but I mean, like 60% completion percentage, 54% completion percentage, 35%, like they're just too low. And it's that they had been going off for massive yards. They haven't gone over 300 yards in the last four games. So what was so potent about that Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill matchup at the beginning of the year isn't quite there now. And maybe it is that the first-year head coach, his offense has been found out a bit. I don't think that's entirely it. I do think you have to shoulder some more of the blame with Tua. Like, he had an absolute stinker over the weekend. We were able to talk about on our review the other day about how poor Dak Prescott's game was, and you can put a lot of that offensive lack of production on him, and you certainly have to do that against Miami and the Chargers. So when you're talking about them going up at Buffalo Bills, who this is their time of year, and I know it's a bit of a cliche, but this is their time of year to start getting red hot. We expect them to get there. They are starting to turn the screw. I'd certainly prefer to be a Bills fan having weathered the storm versus Tua going into that.
What's your thoughts, Michaela?
I think it's funny that me and Mark are having the same thoughts of the Bills having, like, going through a storm. They've lost 3 games. They've only lost 3 games and they've played their worst already. Like, that's incredible for the Bills. Like Josh Allen isn't even in the MVP race. Like, in fairness, like, he has thrown a couple of interceptions in the last 2 games, so he's definitely not even in the talks for MVP. But I think when I look at Tua, he had 2 important games, the last 2 games, the 49ers and the Chargers, and they are probably the best teams they face in a while. And not only did they lose them, he played really badly. And the reason why I picked Herbert in the Chargers game was because I think Herbert was going to remind I knew Herbert was going to remind everyone why everyone preferred him the last 2 seasons over Tua. I think it's funny now that Tua is in MVP talks and all this stuff, because it was only last season and the season before when people were like, oh, Herbert should have been drafted over him. Tua's not the answer. And there were even rumors that the Dolphins could trade for Watson and stuff like that. That's why I picked the Chargers, because I knew Herbert was kind of going to prove what everyone was saying right the last 2 years. But yeah, I do think the Bills are, now I know the Dolphins bet the Bills the last time they faced each other, but again, you look at the stats, Tua didn't statistically have a great game. I think he only got 180 yards and 1 touchdown, where Josh Allen had like 400 yards. I don't know, I can't remember why the Bills lost that game. It was probably something to do with defense. But yeah, I think Tua, he's like what these are saying, that Mike McDaniels might be getting found out a little bit now on the offense. I think the same could be said for Tua. I don't think I don't know if it's just he's maybe listening too much to the MVP stuff and he's getting maybe a little bit nervous. So when he comes up against the good teams and the good quarterbacks, he's not playing as well. Maybe he's panicking a little bit. Maybe he's too much in his head knowing he's coming up against these really, really good guys. But I think the Bills are going to beat the Dolphins, and then the Dolphins will have another problem on their hands because they're going to fall backwards towards the Jets and the Patriots. And then I don't think anyone expects the Patriots or the Jets to finish ahead of the Dolphins in the standings, but they could. The Dolphins, they won't win this game, I don't think, against the Bills, but they'll need to win every game after that.
Yeah, it was. I actually had to think back there myself now. It seems so long ago that the game that happened in Miami, the Tua had was it the miraculous recovery at halftime? That I'm sure we won't. Mark, that was the right game, wasn't it? Tua went down, had the miraculous recovery at halftime, came back into the game, and then on the Thursday night, obviously, thank God he's okay now. But
they had loads of opportunities. Like, I mean, there's plenty of time left on the board. I think there's a 4-point swing in it or something like that. I think there was plenty of opportunities for the Bills to come back and get it. I think there was a safety at the end of the game that kind of made the scoreboard look tighter than it was. But yeah, sorry, you are correct in what you're saying.